What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about What If Episode 9, the finale, review, breakdown, Funko Pop Talk. You guys know what's up. Hit subscribe, hit like. Let's go. First scene, we have Peggy Carter and Black Widow. They're hunting Batroc. Batroc is a familiar face if you watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We've also seen them in Captain America, Winter Soldier. And I like the wordplay that Black Widow and Peggy Carter have us here. It's definitely a tie back to the MCU when Chris Evans' Captain America used to have the same kind of jokes with Black Widow. And even this very same scenario happened, and Captain America jumps out of the back of the airplane. Almost the exact same scene, just a little bit different wordplay. And same scene here as we had in Captain America Winter Soldier, where Batroc tells Captain, I thought you were more than just a shield. And she says, I'm also a good dancer too. Dancer. And this is definitely a tie back you see here where he fights Batroc. And Batroc is an amazing hand-to-hand combat fighter. I thought Captain America and Winter Soldier had the best hand-to-hand. But in this version, the Watcher comes and plucks Peggy out of her reality, telling her she has been chosen. Next scene, we cut to the Dairy Queen where we see Ego's primordial ooze, whatever that is, and we can tell those are Ravager fighters shooting at the Blob. This is definitely a tie back to the Dairy Queen in the MCU where he planted part of himself in the back of it. This is also a tie back where he's stealing the light from Peter. Even though Peter in this version didn't become Star-Lord, he is still Ego's son, and Ego is trying to steal the light like he did in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Good Easter egg there. Here, T'Challa Star-Lord saves him, and that's obviously a tie back because he's a Ravager and Peter was supposed to be. And Watcher comes and takes T'Challa, telling him he has been chosen. Another Easter egg and tie-in, we jump to Nidavellir where they make the gauntlet, Stormbreaker, and many other weapons. And here we see the gauntlet being dismantled, so we can take it that in this universe, Thanos was defeated. This is the episode that they did not show with Gamora in that yellow suit. There is a Funko Pop of her out, but there is no episode in What If of it. And here you can see Eitri has his hands, where in our MCU, Thanos took his hands. She's with Tony Stark, but the Watcher says, we don't want you, Tony Stark. We choose Gamora. So next scene, we cut to a wasteland, Wakanda, where Killmonger has destroyed everything, it seems like, in the pursuit of war. And Pepper Potts and Shuri have had enough, and they're going to obviously attack him and take him prisoner if they can. The Watcher intervenes before they can get there and tells Killmonger that he has been chosen. And this is a head-scratching moment. So Thor is in Vegas and he's not happy that his date with Jane Foster has been ruined, and he's taking it out on the sensory bots. And he says a great line here. He says, nobody messes with Vegas. And it's just totally party Thor thing to say. Chris Hemsworth is the voiceover. He does a great job. The Watcher cannot get his attention because Thor is going off and killing tons of sensories, and he physically has to reach in here. I thought that was good imagery, and grab him even though he's not supposed to intervene. But he has to definitely make contact with Thor and pulls him out. And Thor does the scream. That is an Easter egg tie back into Ragnarok when Thor was lost in space and got taken to Sakaar. And he was going through that Willy Wonka type scenario. And he ends up screaming here too and meeting all the other Chosens in the bar. Great scene here. Thor had a head when the Watcher pulled him through of one of Ultron's sensories. So he slams it on the table. He asks for a beer. This is definitely a callback to when Doctor Strange gave him a beer in the MCU in Thor Ragnarok. But Killmonger is fixated on this helmet, and I want to talk about this after because I got a Funko Pop that kind of ties into this. So the Watcher is kind of sitting them all around and telling them the plan to defeat Ultron, who has become a cosmic level being, and they are now the guardians of the multiverse. Thor laughs it off and he says, I know Loki put you up to this, and he throws his cup, which is obviously a callback to all the scenes where they ask for another. Thor does it in his very first movie when he slams the coffee cup to the ground. Loki does it in the Loki series when he's on the train with Sylvie And it must be an Asgardian tradition to throw the glass when you're done with it and slam it down. But again, great detail, great tiebacks. This is also a scene what we've seen before where the six stones are being explained and they're above everybody in like a projection type scene. Gamora, who had defeated Thanos in her world, brings on the Stone Crusher, which uses the Soul Stone to crush the other stones, right? And that's their plan, is to get one of the stones and crush the other ones. And I love how Peggy Carter gives the speech, just like Captain America gives the speech in our MCU. Again, another callback. So the Watcher sends them to a remote universe where there's no life and they can kind of summon Ultron when they're ready. And I like this scene because it shows that Doctor Strange is not in total control of the beings that he absorbed, which is a callback to an earlier episode. And Peggy kind of sees that. And it's definitely an Easter egg to Doctor Strange, his first video, where the joke was that the warnings come after the spells. And meanwhile, Killmonger is still very interested in his sensory helmet, and he gets it to activate using his vibranium technology. Gamora is not feeling it and does not trust him whatsoever. Thor pays it no attention and proposes a toast. So they all have a toast, and they drink a toast, and Thor warned them that he is good at attracting unwanted attention. So we have another glass toss moment, and this time he lets out a lightning blast, Guardians of the Multiverse, which alerts Ultron, giving us some real Galactus vibes here. So Ultron is on his way, and Thor did tell them that he excels at attracting unwanted attention, and that's really all he has to say for himself. My bad, bro. And he lets Ultron comes through the multiverse, and he leads them right to him. Doctor Strange issues the whole team with a protective spell, which is funny because this is Strange Supreme. Stephen Strange, which is a different Doctor Strange in this What If series, received that protection spell from Wong, which means Doctor Strange Supreme picked up on it and knew the spell. Thor lets out a Viva Las Vegas battle cry, and Doctor Strange multiplies Miro to distract Ultron and hit him a bunch of times. We've seen him multiply himself in Endgame when he fought against Thanos. So it was definitely a callback, and it was a distraction to hit Ultron multiple times. So that way Peggy Carter could fly on T'Challa and issue a heavy blow while T'Challa jumped on his back. And that is definitely a callback to earlier in the series where she rode on the back of the Hydra Stomper. So their plan works. T'Challa gets there. Remember, he's a Ravager. So with vibranium technology, it seems. So he was able to steal the stone. And you can see here, Ultron is without his soul stone. And he says, never doubt sticky fingers. So you can see the fingertips there. So there must be some vibranium technology there that allowed him to interact with the suit. Doctor Strange then pulls out a 3-headed dragon that Thor was like, you've been hiding this the whole time? I was thinking the same thing. But that's pretty much how the scene ends, and they create a diversion to escape. The Watcher opens one portal so that they can get to a different part of the multiverse, and Doctor Strange opens another portal, which drops out all the zombies. And the very first scene of the zombies is Captain America, Hawkeye, and Falcon. So I thought that was really cool how the Avengers are still fighting against Ultron. And of course, Ultron vaporizes all the zombies, and Baba Yaga is still there, but he just destroys the whole universe and everything in it. So unfortunately, he wins that round. Next scene, we cut to where we have Gamora in that yellow suit where she defeated Thanos in her gold suit, whatever it is. But Black Widow comes and steals the Soul Stone as soon as Peggy Carter is throwing it to Gamora so Gamora can enter it into the Stone Crusher. And Black Widow is skeptical of what's going on, and they have another BFF moment where Peggy Carter has to talk her down, which of course gives Ultron enough time to follow them to their location and issue a fight. And now it's just a battle or chase for the Soul Stone, which very much reminded me of Endgame, where it was basically keep away from Thanos with the gauntlet until they were able to devise their plan. So I thought that was a very good callback. And Ultron gets tired of it and says, I can destroy universes with a thought. And he tries. He literally focuses up his energy. He sets off a universal blast, and it all of a sudden it starts reversing, and Doctor Strange uses his powers to reverse this explosion, captures it in his hand. It's like a ball of light, and then he eats it. He literally eats it, and I was like, wait, what? And Ultron said the same thing. So that was a really strange moment. We really don't know how strong Doctor Strange Supreme is. He obviously is on the level of a cosmic being, because when he was fighting, he didn't have a protection spell on. Everybody else did. And Ultron was very confused in this moment and started to rethink his plan. I Go High, You Go Low has definitely been a what if tie-in, but it's also in the MCU. It's in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm sure it's in a couple other movies. Ultron uses the Time Stone to slow down time, and I like the visual there, how he spreads them all out, and he's able to grab the Soul Stone while time is frozen. But Doctor Strange still has his Eye of Agamotto, which contains his Time Stone, and he's able to use his tentacle to recover or fight Ultron for the Time Stone. And Ultron grows to an enormous level where Doctor Strange has to gather an absorbent amount of energy. And I love how the different colors also represent the different beings he absorbed. And he busts out into the full-on tentacles. And I loved Peggy Carter's face. And she was like, what the F? Like, it was just really hard for her to grasp her head around what was going on in that moment. But like I said, Doctor Strange Supreme is very powerful and is able to pull Ultron down. And again, he's accessing a lot of his energy. And I wonder if that's corrupting him over time with that black energy. And you see the full-on creature here in the different eye colors with the different powers as he is absorbing all his energy, so they can hold him down with the magical chains they're using to keep him in place in order to place the Soul Stone in the Soul Crusher and take all the stones from Ultron. And it theoretically, it begins to work. You see here, they have him on his back, they have him pinned down. They're ending up getting all the stones inside the Stone Crusher, and the Crusher is supposed to destroy them, and a big explosion goes off. Boom. So the Soul Stones on every universe is different, and the Soul Crusher did not work in this universe. This is a basic premise there. And Ultron comes out with all 6 stones, and he realizes that, hey, I just got to destroy Doctor Strange. So he starts to power up energy and releases it basically on Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange is basically holding out for one last ditch effort. And he has to access a lot of power, obviously. And the blast of their residual battle blows Peggy Carter and Black Widow into an area where her bike is. And also the arrow with the virus that is Armanzola in the tip. Now this arrow can obviously affect Ultron, so they do hatch a plan where they have to time it. And I love the visuals here as Black Widow's in the air. She's about to shoot Ultron, and she says, "This is for you, Clint." And they have to time it. If you look in the right corner, you can see Black Widow's bike in the air as Peggy Carter's getting ready to jump. And the plan here is to shoot the arrow at Ultron, but he has this shield through his eye, so it has to pierce his optical lensing, or his eye, if you will. So Peggy has to jump and land on his back and pull the shield up with enough time for Ultron not to be able to react and the arrow to pierce his eye. Great plan, great timing, great visual. And as soon as the arrow pierces his eye, then Armanzola starts his signal burst right away, as he said before. And I love the initial confusion from Ultron. He doesn't really understand what's happening. And Armanzola tells him, my purpose was to bring against Hydra's dominance, and you stopped that. So he kind of resents him, and he makes a Hydra symbol as he destroys basically the AI that is Ultron. And as Ultron is destroyed and lays there lifeless, here comes Killmonger with that skull, taking his moment to steal all the vibranium off the organic body and put it on himself, which includes the stones. So just as the Guardians of the Multiverse are ready to engage Killmonger, stomach-faced Armanzola vision rises, and Doctor Strange realizes as they're fighting over the stone that this was what's meant to happen, and he can encapsulate them and the stones and in this thing. So they're distracted as they're fighting and tug and warring over the stones because their technologies are comparable to the vibranium, right? And Doctor Strange creates a prism that capulates them just like he did himself in the universe he destroyed. We get the classic Avengers pose at the end, and a job well done as the Watcher talks to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange says, "You foresaw all of this." And he says, we got to make sure we watch them. If they ever escape out of there, it could be a real problem. It could be a real issue, which they technically could escape. And he sends everybody home except for Black Widow. Everybody returns to their exact moment in time. Black Widow gets sent to a different world that lost their Black Widow. But I don't believe it's our MCU because it looks like Hydra's still alive, if you notice the helicarriers, and they're fighting the army of Lokis. So I don't really know what's going on here, but Loki still has the scepter, and he's trying to use it against Nick Fury, and he calls them replacement Avengers. So what that means, I'm sure we'll find out. And she drop kicks Loki, and he loses the scepter, and it's a really good moment for her, and it opens the door for Black Widow to return to the MCU, hopefully. And then we get a lot of just nostalgia here. Thor gets his date. We saw T'Challa shooting with Peter. And obviously the end credit scene where Peggy Carter returns to her timeline and they figure out what the pirates were looking at, what they were after. And it's the Hydra Stomper. And so she's all excited because the Hydra Stomper is still found, but the catch is that somebody is still inside of the Hydra Stomper suit, which we don't know who that is or who that could be. But very exciting stuff. What's up, guys? That was the breakdown. Thanks again for watching. Please leave it in the comments. Let me know if I missed anything. I wanted to talk about this Killmonger pop because I got it before, and I thought this is a really cool Funko Pop. And he's holding the Sensory Bot helmet. And I didn't understand why, because I didn't see him interact with any Sensory Bots in the episode that he was in. And I got it right after that episode. So it was cool to kind of see how they tied that all in, and that he was never counted on to be a hero. He was always counted on to be what he was, which was a villain. And the Watcher had foreseen all those things, because it was a head-scratching moment why they would choose Killmonger but not Tony Stark from Gamora's time, which again was the episode that we didn't see. That is a lost episode. And again, I want to show one more pop that I just received, the Mach 1. This is where it all started, obviously. And we're going to continue to do pop drops. We're going to do like mystery drops and all kind of stuff for you guys. So please continue to watch. We'll continue to put out more videos. And again, this is Rep the Set. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.